The person that I ended up interviewing for this was Alejandra Ortiz. She is a second year at East Bay and she's a very close friend of mine. The reason why I interviewed her today, or for this final project, was because she told me a lot of stories about her, and then I asked her if it was okay if I can interview her. Obviously, she said yes, or this presentation wouldn't be possible. These some experiences that I had interviewing my friend where I learned a lot about her and her culture that I never knew before. Like, she had told me some of the struggles she had as a first generation in America and like what she has to face, but it was like a lot deeper than what she told me from this interview. Um some struggles that she had to overcome was first learning English. For her, Spanish was her first language, and going to an American school where the primary language was English, she had to adapt very quickly to learn English and become bilingual so she could just succeed to go in basic elementary school. Another thing that she had to overcome was her family always feeling like whatever she did was not enough. For her, it was growing up. She had to do most of the things in her family since her parents didn't know English, so she had to be the ones that were translating things such as taxes, files, even doctor's appointments. She had to know her social security number because she are for her parents and for her, just in case uh, she ever got pulled over. Some other challenges that she had to endure in her life, or for one, being a first generation Mexican American, she had a very hard time figuring out who she was as a person. Whenever she went back home, she stated that she always felt like she wasn't brown enough. But whenever she went back to the United States, then she felt like she wasn't really white enough. So it was a lot on her mentally to figure out who she was as a person. Some other struggles that she had to endure were based on people or was people not accepting her sexuality. She is part of the LGBTQ, and that is something that we can connect to this class because one of the themes is sexuality, and a lot of people had a hard time accepting her sexuality, including her parents, which she doesn't feel like has accepted them to this day. Um, Another thing that she had to always handle, or another thing that she had to overcome, was her gender, being a woman, and the fact that uh in her house, a predominantly Latin or Hispanic household, it was always seemed like the woman was the one that had to take care of the kids, do the dishes, and never had to go get an education because that was the job of the quote unquote man of the house. This also ties back into a gender theme in our class. And finally, the last thing that she had to overcome that she told me in this interview was the amount of racism that she had to deal with, which would go back to racism in this scenario. She felt like a lot of people would judge her because she was Hispanic. She felt like a lot of people would make jokes about her going back to Mexico or being deported, or some people just not even being her friends in general because of her gender, or not, sorry, not her gender, because of her race slash ethnicity. Some things that she said that were her greatest achievements were one, going to college. She feels like that is a very huge achievement for her since she's the first of her family to go to college. Some other achievements that Alejandra has achieved was becoming a bilingual person at a very young age, at around like 6, 7, 8. And finally, the last achievement that she said that she had was being able to stand up to her parents and let them know that she was going to be who she wants to be and not what her family wanted her to be. Some interesting aspects of her life, or things that I found interesting, is that she's very into spirituality. That is all the things that she told me during this interview. So thank you for listening and have a good rest of your day.